Within fresh produce, we're obviously seeing some challenges internationally around food safety and the way it's impacting consumers, and manufacturers and growers are working very hard to rectify the challenges. Be really keen to get your thoughts on how you think food safety will evolve in fresh produce over say the next 5 years.
Thanks. That's a really great question, and it's a big question, isn't it? Um, I hope that we'll see a reduction in audit proliferation, which you may say sounds counterintuitive to your original question, but actually it's all about verification and looking in the right places. I think there's a real opportunity for earned recognition in audit schemes being applied, rewarding those who are consistently doing a great job. And then perhaps enabling the focus to be on businesses who don't have that experience and perhaps are open to slightly more risk. So enabling that, team focus, etc., and experience is in the right places. There's going to be a great opportunity for the use of tech to support audits to reduce the burden, such as immutable sample taking, video witnessing of processes, etc. And I think the development and mainstream uses of analytical processes will provide a great benefit in establishing sources of outbreaks, such as using NGS, next generation sequencing, etc. So we can really tie it back and look down the supply chain to the root cause. And then obviously a bigger undertaking of food safety training is absolutely imperative, and that we get that down at grower level, not just in the food factory. And I do think there is a particular slant in the sector to be looking at what happens in the factory, but not necessarily quite as carefully food safety handling in the actual growing area. There's obviously this continued need for education. And we need to be cognizant of new origins entering the supply chain. We're going to have a greater reliance on these countries who perhaps haven't had the experience of supplying into retail markets, etc., previously. And these areas are going to become more relevant, more prevalent because of a risk of climate change. So education in these regions is going to be absolutely critical. I've seen shifts already from my growing areas, perhaps from the south of Spain over to some of the East African countries, and there's just challenges associated with that. And of course, we need to be considering the new and evolving farming and growing practices, such as regenerative farming, vertical farming, and automation in field kit. They're all relatively new processes and can bring challenges which we need to be really cognizant of.
That's fantastic, really insightful. I think if I summarized it, I think it's showing a moment in time where strategic supply is really critical, because you can share knowledge, you can understand your supply base, and ultimately you can manage risk together. And I'm a big supporter of the need to verify rather than waiting for the audit. I think that verification, as in putting the controls in place, having your risk assessment done properly, and making sure that the checks are working for you, to reduce the need for an audit at the end, because you know that your process is in control, or if it deviates, that you can bring it back under control quickly. Virian, that's fantastic. Thank you for sharing your insights.
Very welcome.